Hi everyone, I'm Dan Palomino from KW Big Island, and in this edition of At Your Service, we're talking about teams. One of the questions that I get a lot from real estate agents is, hey Dan, I'm thinking about starting a team. And my first thought is, you know not what you ask, right? You don't really know what you're getting into. Typically what people do is they say, I like Bill and Bill likes me and we're both real estate agents, and so we think we're going to team up. And I'm glad that you like Bill, but that may not be the right person for you to join and start a team. And so I'm going to give you some piece of advice, probably 3 pieces. There's a lot to this puzzle, a lot to unpack and a lot to know, but I'm going to give you 3 of my best tips. The first tip is, if you're going to start a team with somebody, make sure that they have something that you need and vice versa. That you have something that they need and they have something that you need, right? It's got to be reciprocal. I'll give you an example. When I started out in the business, I teamed up with a guy named Gary Lorman. He was my mentor, and Gary had already been 35 years in the business. He was an old school guy with a huge Rolodex, and that's exactly what I needed. I was new to real estate. I didn't know anything, and Gary knew everything, and he could teach me, and I could have his contacts. That was perfect. In exchange, what Gary needed from me was, I was internet savvy, I was marketing savvy, I was young, I was energetic, and Gary needed all of those things. He knew nothing about internet or internet marketing. Heck, he had an AOL account. You know what I mean? So we came together at the perfect time, and it really developed into the perfect marriage, including our personalities. I was a hot-blooded Italian with a lot of energy. Gary was a laid-back German. Our personalities were perfect for each other. And so that's what you got to think about when you're starting a team. The other really key move that Gary made was that Gary made a decision early on to let me lead. Now, he was the one with all the experience, and he didn't have to let me lead, but he made the decision early on that he was going to let me lead, and he was going to be there for support, for training, and for education. And again, it worked out great. Let's face it, most of the reasons why teams don't work out is because they get into conflicts, right? They start butting heads about who's going to lead, which then gets me to my third point, which is a piece of advice that my attorney gave me at one time. And he said, Dan, before you get into any type of partnership, figure out how you're going to get divorced before you get married. And he's exactly right. What he's saying is, when you guys sit down and start crafting what this is going to look like, talk about how you're going to exit first. When it all goes bad, when it all goes right down the toilet, think about how you're going to exit. What's going to happen to the clients that you're both working with? What's going to happen to the database that you both share? What's going to happen to fill in the blank, right? Talk about all of the ways that this is going to work on the exit in the event that it doesn't work out. And I got news for you. The majority of these don't work out. I mean, it's got to be greater than 80% of teams fail. And there's lots of reasons for that, some of which I've just described here, and there's more. So if you want help starting a team, I'd be happy to help you build your business, and I enjoy being at your service.